Do you know that the United States had secret plans to bomb China right after World War II? It's a story that rarely gets told, but it nearly changed the course of history. The year was 1949. The world had just come out of the bloodiest conflict in human history. The United States had defeated Nazi Germany in Europe and Imperial Japan in the Pacific. But just as the dust was settling, a new threat was rising, and this time it was from China. For decades, China had been locked in a brutal civil war. On one side was the nationalist government, led by Chiang Kai-shek. On the other side was the Communist Party, led by Mao Zedong. In 1949, the Communists won. Mao took control of all of mainland China, while Chiang and his government escaped to the island of Taiwan. To Washington, this was a nightmare. But why? It was because the United States had just started a new struggle, the Cold War against the Soviet Union. The Soviets were already a communist superpower, and now China, one of the biggest countries in the world, had joined the communist side. American leaders were afraid. They thought communism would now spread across Korea, Vietnam, Southeast Asia, and beyond. They believed that if they didn't act fast, half the world could fall under communist rule. That's when US generals and politicians began talking about stopping it. One of the most powerful voices at the time was General Douglas MacArthur, a hero from World War II. He believed that the US should not sit and watch China fall into communist hands. Secret plans were drawn up. According to documents that were declassified years later, it was revealed that America was seriously thinking about invading China. The idea was to send American troops to the Chinese coast to help the defeated nationalists and try to take back the country from Mao's new government. But things got more serious, and some American officials began discussing the possible use of nuclear weapons. This was not just talk. The US had already used atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki just 4 years earlier, and they knew the kind of destruction those bombs could cause. Some believed that bombing China could stop communism from spreading any further. So what really stopped them? There were two big reasons. First, the American people were tired. The country had just finished World War II, which had cost millions of lives and huge amounts of money. Most Americans didn't want to go into another war so soon, especially not one that could last years. Secondly, invading China was incredibly risky. China was a massive country with difficult geography, a large population, and strong national pride. A war there could drag on for years and possibly bring the Soviet Union into the fight, something that could start World War III. Because of all these risks, the US decided not to go through with the plan. The invasion was cancelled, and the bombs were never launched. But the fact that these plans existed, and that the US seriously considered bombing China, shows just how high tensions were after World War II. It's a reminder of how close the world came to another global war. It was a moment where everything could have changed, but luckily it didn't.